Hey everyone, it's finally raining out, which is nice. Can finally clean all these bugs that are smudged all over the windshield. The fluid doesn't seem to really work, and it hasn't bothered me enough to get out and scrub it, so I think we have a heavy rainstorm that's about to come through. It should clean that up. It already got rid of like 70% of it, but we just turned around because there's a culvert pipe up here that is typical for clogging, usually beavers. We're gonna stop at it right now. Water levels are elevated over here on the river, but the water levels are a lot more elevated over on the other side of the culvert pipe, indicating it might have a problem. It also might just be backing up as a bottleneck. It may have hit capacity. They have a grate on there that even without beavers, it would clog up very fast. Small holes, leaves and grass getting stuck against it in storm surge, easily cloggable. Also, a beaver in less than an hour could clog it up if they wanted to. So why even have the grate? In normal situations, debris would be able to go through it without clogging it during a storm. Unless a couple sticks get stuck across it, then debris would start building up. But it's there so the beaver doesn't build a dam in the middle of the pipe where it's extremely difficult to get to, where you would need an excavator or piece of heavy equipment to ram a telephone pole or a log back and forth to get it out. All right, put the strobe lights on. Let's get out for a moment and inspect. All right, let's go have a look at what's going on. Forest is nice and green. We've had a decent amount of rain this spring, because earlier in the spring, we were technically in drought conditions. We haven't had extreme heat or anything. We had a decent amount of snow, so I think the new drought monitor just came in and we're just about good. Hear that beautiful noise? Pretty sure that's a gray tree frog. That's very flooded. Impressive. That's one of the longest calls I've ever heard from a tree frog. And yeah, it's still going after 30 seconds. So here's the culvert. A little bit's coming out, but I can just hear by the noise it's falling over something, meaning a dam or a blockage over here at the grate. The DOT had the grate out of here for a while. They put it back. Lots of beaver debris. There's a trail right here that's all disturbed, which I'm guessing is constant beavers going up and down here, causing that erosion there. Let's see what we got. This is usually a fun one. You can just push it over. I don't think it's beavers, to be honest with you. It's just grass and debris that floated over against the extremely small grate. I feel like after 3 years of beavers, they would have relocated by now. And I think they did. I don't see beaver chew marks or floating sticks chewed by beavers anywhere. This all looks like natural storm debris. It also looks like we might have globs of frog eggs down there in the water. Is that what I'm seeing? Potentially. They get covered in algae because the clear eggs are kind of like a greenhouse. Even when they hatch, it'll turn into a moss ball oftentimes. But this is flooded by multiple feet. That, I believe, is a 4-foot culvert, and it's all the way up to the top. Are we even going to be able to budge this and pop this grate out of here? We've popped it before, and then we've left it up and returned a little. Whoa, that is heavy. We might be able to get that thing out of there. Let's give it an attempt. I'm not even gonna go get my tripod. I think it'll fit in this stick nicely. Yeah, it just might. Let's modify that a little bit with another stick. Ah, yeah, that actually worked. That is strong. And the water's too deep to really get down in front of it. You can't really rake off a grate. Having trouble. I can open it, but I can't shift it. It's a hard one. We've done this before in years past. I know what I'm gonna do. Especially with the extra rain we're getting in the forecast. Beavers aren't involved in that. We'll hang up some ribbons. If the actual road crews even know what that means. This isn't a dirt road, they don't do that kind of stuff. But if they relocated the beavers, I don't even know why the grate's there. The grate is only there so the beaver doesn't build a dam in the middle of the pipe where it's impossible to get rid of it. And look at all this tiny debris now getting drawn over there. Even if that grate was cleared, shoved back in there, it's gonna be covered in this stuff again. Half hour. No beaver involvement whatsoever, but yet a big issue. I can't get that grate out of there. I also can't clear it because the water in there is like 4 feet deep. People ask why I wear boots that are this high. Why don't I get ones that are up to my shoulders? Because it's too dangerous. If the water is that deep, you should not be near it. The amount of pressure here, if you were to fall into that thing with it open, is tremendous. But at least now all this junk can get around it without clogging anything. Very stupid idea. This is in the state of New Hampshire, the state that has all the infrastructure money. They repave roads, they replace bridges that don't need it. They're looking for things to replace just to blow money. Why can't they put a better structure on the end of this thing? Put an actual nice concrete box that allows this debris to flow over it. Get a good beaver structure. I don't think there's beavers here. There is zero evidence of it. Everything you see is debris that is floating over. And look, the end of the debris is actually in sight. So maybe I was wrong. If this was cleared, maybe there wouldn't be a problem. This was just kind of stagnant before we opened it up, and I guess that stuff built up. It's mostly pine needles and pieces of grass. But we got one more car going by. Let's see what difference it made over on the other side. Unfortunately, this is all we can do. That pressure is back-breaking, just pushing it as much as I did. There's also a good amount of erosion. There's like a crack right here that goes in pretty far. But they've been doing road work around here for a while. I don't think they're gonna get to this one. They just repaved this. New Hampshire seems to be, they don't rip up roads. They don't even mill it. Just a flat road with the lines and everything. They just pour oil over it, add another layer. I've seen roads in New Hampshire that are 2 feet thick. They just keep adding a layer every couple years. But yeah, look, that is actually pretty cool what we're seeing now. So we got some of the debris that was just released that is still going through, rotating over there. But this river is actually slightly coffee colored. I've seen big storms. This river will be light brown, like milky coffee. It's not crystal clear, but that's from the runoff. There's a ton of dirt roads, logging roads around here. They run off dirty water. But the water coming out of this pipe is crystal clear. That's why, see the color difference right there? Crystal clear, it looks black. You can see down in it a bit, but right here is a little discolored. But here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Just that little effort may actually stop this part of the road from having flooding concerns. We're expecting a lot of rain over the next day, and the flooding's already getting kind of bad. But it would not go over the road here. That would just become much deeper. Remember, roads aren't meant to be dams, and you already see the erosion damage right there. I don't know how deep under the road that could possibly go. But if this was to rise maybe 2 more feet, by design it would follow this drainage ditch under a culvert pipe at a little dirt road right around where you see that orange sign. If that pipe could handle that flood water, it would go under to the next pipe that goes under the road back to the river. If it couldn't handle it, it would flood that dirt road. Then it would make it to the culvert pipe. But we look over here now. Actually, let's look back at the pipe. There's the big surge of water coming out of that culvert. And even down here, that's all debris we just released or allowed to clear off the surface of that pond. That's a big streak right there of pine needles and grass that we just released. Well, that's all we could do. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.